Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. I am back again with you to share just a little segment out of Olivia James's book, The Grey Mouse or Grey Mouse Purgatory. So this morning I went on my Facebook and I saw someone on my one of my friends on Facebook repost one of Olivia James's posts. And basically it's a screenshot of a segment part that's in her book that she wrote in a book about Project Oblivion. Now, I've heard about Project Oblivion, of course, through Olivia James when I first met her some while ago. In fact, she's been on my channel and I've interviewed her. But anyway, I've got both her books. I thought I read both of them. As it turns out, I hadn't. I'd only completed the first book and half of the second book. So I guess life happened. I got distracted. Because in this part and this bit that she showed on her posts, there's a couple of things in there about, Oblivion and fibromyalgia and things like that. And if many of you aren't familiar with Project Oblivion, it's basically a how can I explain it? It's basically a system where certain groups, nefarious groups, are targeting those in the alien disclosure MyLab community. So basically, they're targeting us and causing us to fight amongst ourselves, causing friction, dividing us, and just causing problems really between ourselves. And we're seeing this, we're experiencing this. And many people in these communities have no idea that they're being used and being pitted against other people in the community. People are being manipulated to act out in a certain way towards others, abuse, bullying, finger pointing, accusations, and things of that nature. And so I knew all this was going on anyway for a long time. I just couldn't put a name to it because I've had my own experiences and I still have my own experiences. And when I first met Olivia, I asked her a bit more about the Oblivion and told her about how, I've experienced this. She says, yes, it's Project Oblivion, and, kind of brought me up to speed type thing. And I think we talked a little bit about it when I interviewed her on my channel. So if you want to check that out, please do so. But anyway, so I hadn't seen this part because, like I say, I didn't read the second half of the book, which is crazy. I thought I had, but I hadn't. And in this bit that she said, obviously I was meant to see it, said fibromyalgia. Many of you know I have fibromyalgia and I have my own theories about that. In fact, I did a post on my YouTube and I think, Facebook, not sure about YouTube her post, but definitely on Facebook, it's pinned to the top, how I believe and felt intuitively for a long time that it was manipulation, not necessarily what we've been told that it's solely block trauma, energy and things like that. Although of course we know trauma creates energy in the bodies, creates blockages, creates symptoms. These are real things, but I just felt and believed it was something more than that and just wasn't sitting right with me. So I went down many rabbit holes. And so seeing this, what Olivia James posted, seeing that fibromyalgia and reading it, which I want to share with you in a moment, it just validated and confirmed what I thought. It's interference, it's frequencies coming from our cell phones affecting our energy, attacking and targeting certain people to create illnesses, undetected illnesses. Fibromyalgia, I'll go into it a little bit more, but just quickly, it's undetected. In fact, there are no specific tests that can find this fibromyalgia. In fact, what they do to give you that diagnosis is they rule out everything else before stamping you with, oh, you've got fibromyalgia. Very strange. But anyway, I'll go deeper into that towards the end of the video. So, yeah, my theories, again, if you want to check that post out, I'll share the link in the description. My theory was, direct energy weapons. It's the same whether it's coming through the phone. It's direct energy weapons. So I was onto something. I was correct in my thoughts and feelings, intuition, and again, repeating myself. Olivia James just confirmed that. So yeah, so I just want to share. I read a bit from her book, and again, if you're interested in her book, the link to that is in the video on my channel. If you just scroll through, you'll see titled Olivia James interview. And anyway, in the description, any information about her and her book is all there. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and actually share what it is I want to share. My apologies, guys, if I stumble over words or have brain farts or struggle pronouncing words, if I said that correctly. You gotta laugh. Oblivion. This is something new that they are creating. It is to directly target the people who are talking and bringing information regarding the various MyLab and Black Ops programs. They are going to be part of the project Oblivion. They feel that they must stop us. We are going a bit too far. Be aware that this is a new project creation. They are currently working on all the details to target many of us. Everyone must be on the defense and aware. These people/agencies said, "We are going to blow up your life. We must do this. Things are getting out of control. We are giving away too much information. Some of us too free with our words, others not so much. There are some of us out there who are grabbing onto very detailed pieces of this information and giving it to the world. It has become unbelievable, which is the problem for them. It has become valid and rational, which is also an issue for those in power. For a long time, we stayed within the realms of unbelievability, talking about aliens and the unknown. It has become very rational. The disclosure community is gaining many followers. More people are listening. That is the problem. The programs see many are considered a threat that they will neutralize if we become successful in our endeavors. They have obtained the green light on their project from their upper level. One group that will be targeted is podcasters. Some of these individuals have made significant progress in offering a platform for the disclosure community. Threats will come and their names will be attached to this project. Many of these individuals are going to start bringing more truth to people. Some of these podcasters will become important in the future as they become more aware of what has happened in the world. Various individuals will be important for us all to get information out because of their openness to the truth without censorship and judgment of the people. I see my name on the list, Olivia James. This list is very long. I see many names I recognise and many that I have never heard of. Those in power think they are going to have enough strength to take us all down, but it will not stop all of us. There is a great strength in numbers and unity. We must unite. There is strength in unification and our commitment to the truth. So in Olivia James's book, she speaks about the death of her dad and how he actually, in a sense, on the other side, acts as like her spirit guide, if you like. And so there are times where he's come through to give Olivia James messages. So this will be the next part. Dad gives a message. Keep up the good work. There is no stopping the mission at hand. Continue to make complete efforts to provide truth to the world. It will make a difference whether in this life or for the next generation. We all meet our end, and as you can see, there is no real end because I am still here talking to you. Next part. Olivia and her higher self speaks. Project Oblivion will bring a theme of heavy betrayal. Haven't you seen that lately? There will be more trials and more interfighting. It is a perfect situation for those in power to come in. Betrayal is completely destructive. You have seen it. You see what it does to people. We see how destructive this force is. People will come into your life and betray you. This does destroy the morale of these people. They are using something called Spider, TR. She's covered the rest of the name, guys, so I don't know what this name is, but she's called it Spider. So SPYDER and then TR, and then we've got XX. That is what they call it. They are monitoring all the different connections that the disclosure community have made. This is a computer software program. That is how they keep everyone monitored, by tracking the connections individuals have in the movement. Everything and everyone is connected. They have acquired much information associated with this program. Who is talking to who? How often? What are they saying? Messages, phone calls, etc. It is all being monitored for Project Oblivion. Once they have the full concept of what the disclosure program is, they assume it will be an easy target. They say they are gathering intelligence and information. Their major focus is anyone connected to what they consider the off-world military programs. That is the major threat to their power. They cannot have anyone know and believe in the torture of children that have been allowed for so many years. It would blow everything up if people started to believe that, and if it got out to the masses. Spider, TR again XX, was founded and implemented by a private corporation called, again, she's not given the proper name, RO. Anyway, I can't, NNDT, I can't really, I don't know what that name is, but anyway, this is the group that has obtained the contract to complete this program for the 3-letter agency. If you know, you know. And their operations. This software can be connected to other computer programs as well. And then she mentions this name again, Ron, NNDTEE, representative speaks. We have finally infiltrated your movement already. We send our spies everywhere. Haven't you felt it? All of you are divided now. Connections have been severed. That is us, and it has been very easy. You are all very weak humans. We will succeed in tearing your mission apart. You will not have nothing left after we are finished. You will all scurry back to the dark holes you came from like scared little mice. We are not afraid. We have more money than you could ever imagine. This is the power we have. You cannot take that away from us. We have everything we need. You are the ones that will suffer, not us. Continue your efforts and we will keep doing what we are doing. You have no chance anyway. Your movement has no chance. It is slowing down as we speak. There is much divisiveness now. You will not recover from this. We have sent so many spies to your movement to trick you and to make you feel weak, and it has worked. We have a vice grip on your mind and emotions. Yeah, no shit. I felt this. I'll explain at the end. All we must do is send one person to cause problems, and you all fall like dominoes. Do you see how easy that is for us? It takes just one person, and you all fall to the ground like puppets with no strings. They are measuring brain activity and frequencies through cell phones. It's something I always knew. I think a lot of us did. The phone can affect your brain waves. Many of you are going to have mystery illnesses. This can affect the woman's reproductive area. They can affect the blood vessels and the flow to those areas. Many people in the disclosure movement are going to find mystery illnesses that relate to the chambers of the heart. There will be a greater incidence of blood clots, fibromyalgia, nervous system disorders, and skin disorders. There will be issues with bone density. They said, we can make you rot from the inside out. How about that? We will make your world the planet of terror if you don't stop. This movement must be crushed finally. Next bit is Olivia and her higher self speaking. This movement is picking up a lot of energy. Despite the issues we have, many of us are continuing to move forward. Despite the problems that we have faced in our personal lives and the community, people are continuing to pick up the pieces and move forward. In the future, many of those who have been shunned will return and speak their truths. The quieter we become, the more detrimental it will be to our movement. Keep speaking, keep telling the truth to make a firm stand against these people. You do not need to wait for an alliance. You make your own alliance in this disclosure movement. You don't need anyone else. Make it yourself. And the last part, her father comes through. My father speaks of oblivion, truth, and unity. Keep going, go further, don't stop. There is going to be something major that happens for us all in the community. Don't stop. There is much pride, and some individuals don't want to let go of their egos. That is a normal human trait, so don't be angry at these people as they are learning about their humanity and emotions. You must allow them the time to recover and learn. He is shaking my hand and he wants to shake your hand. He says, good job, well done. You are making everyone proud of the work you do. The truth cannot be stopped. It will come swiftly. You must be ready. Big things are coming your way. Be ready. Stand in power and be prepared for all the new changes that will be coming. There is nothing to fear in this world or the next. Just remember that you cannot lose. You will not lose. So I just want to add some more to this and share my own experience with this project, Oblivion. I always sensed and knew that my life was manipulated to a certain extent once upon a time. But then as I got older and realised that, these groups were taking me and that I was in my lab, I really, I knew that, in fact, pretty much the whole of my life has been manipulated. I'd say at least more than 90% of it being orchestrated, controlled, interfered, sabotaged, controlled. Yeah, everything from relationships, opportunities, job opportunities, potential romantic connections. I've been blocked, sabotaged, attacked, controlled, bullied, victimized. Yeah, every part of my life and more has been staged, managed, set up, controlled. No matter what path I took, diverted, go down that path. Oh, this is a better path. Oh, finally get somewhere. Blocked, diverted, and the cycle goes on. So, not sharing this to make anyone feel bad or sorry for me. I don't like anyone to see me as a victim, although I'm aware I am, and I hate to admit that. But, I don't sit and dwell in my life 24/7 every day. Of course, I have my moments, but a lot of the time, I fight. I am a survivor, not a victim. I think that's more empowering, but each to their own. So, I'm just sharing this with you because this is how it is for my labs, for targeted individuals. Even starseeds, if you see yourself as a starseed or an earth angel or envoy, whatever, whatever you feel comfortable with. So, the moment I came into this world, I was abused, many of you know, in more ways than one. Physically, mentally, psychologically, sexually. And this wasn't just a one-time thing, it was pretty much every day. From being a baby all the way up to the age of 13. By my own family, by my own stepdad, excuse me. as well as being bullied by my own family, my own parents, my own siblings. I was the odd one out, the black sheep, the one that questioned everything, the one that tried to speak up, and I was ignored. I was not taken seriously. I wasn't believed. And then in the mix, bullied at school. And if I wasn't at school, I was being bullied by the neighborhood kids, attacked. The abuse was not only in the family, there were times where I was sexually assaulted. More abuse, more taunting, And then there was the spiritual and paranormal and supernatural aspects as well. I was being stalked by, now I know, I have known for a long time, reptilians, lower astral, dimensional beings, astral, lower dimensional, reptilians, full-blooded reptilians, physical, as in our reality, our dimension. I've seen them in my family. I've seen them mimicking, shifting to look like my family. And again, the paranormal, the demonics, the attacks. Then there's the abductions, the alien abductions and military abductions. Didn't know at the time who these groups were. I didn't know what names to give them. I just knew that I were being taken. I'd wake up in the morning and feel like I'd been gone for so long. And I was discombobulated. I'd feel drowsy and drugged, it was just normal, continued with life. Despite all that, I was always, or tried to be, at least, present myself on the surface, masking, happy, go lucky, bubbly, the life and soul of the party. I was naturally hyperactive as well, but, always put others first. I was always the first one to help others, defend others. I stood up to bullies eventually, but it never stopped. It continued. My mum meets another person. He's worse than the first one. He was. Don't know if he's still alive. A reptilian hybrid, worse than my stepdad. And that was just some mind fuckery there. Mind controlling my mum. Using my mum to get to me. Anyway, all this will be in my book when eventually it comes out. I'm sick and tired of saying that. They don't want me to get my book out. Every time I start, they mess with me. I will get this book out one day if it kills me. Yes, so, again, and then the MyLab stuff, being abducted from my home, from school, from whenever I'm out. The constant energy attacks, mind attacks, voice to school. The being haunted, taunted, followed, bullied, sexually assaulted. Constant, guys, constant. And, you think, the amount of times I pause and I'd be like, this can't be real. This has got to be the Twilight Zone. This cannot be real. This is not normal for one person to go through everything that I've gone through and continue to go through. And I'm not the only one, of course. I just want to say that's not all poor me. Let's get the violins out. I'm aware that many, many people go through that. Go through what I go through. In fact, some much worse. If you are in MyLab, an envoy, a targeted individual, this is by design. It's all to create that constant trauma. They put us in loops. They put us in cycles. The trauma, the abuse, betrayal, heartache, trauma, abuse, to go on and on and on and on. The isolation, more isolation, the distrust. Can't trust in anything, can't trust in anyone. Because time and time and time again, people have been used. Again, the Project Oblivion. People have been used, whether mostly or knowingly, they've been used to harm others. Even other MyLabs, were pitted against each other. In fact, it's interesting because a lot of my memories, they put us in these tests, these situations where they are pitting us against one another as a way to bring out our powers, as part of the training. And that can bleed through into our personal lives. This is why a lot of us take an instant dislike to people, and we have no reason on a personal level, unless it's from memory and experience. Well, it's because of that, because we have had experiences, because 9 times out of 10, those that we feel a certain way towards, when there's that animosity, whenever there's that defensive energy, it's because, you can guarantee, they probably put us together in these trainings, pitted us against one another. I've spoken about this before. And when we're outside of the programs, meaning so the times when they're not taking us and we're at home, living our lives and our personal lives, it continues, it bleeds through. So again, this Project Oblivion is very real. I knew it was real. I've experienced it. I just never had a name for it until I met this woman, Olivia James, who I interviewed actually on my channel. So if you want to check that interview out, please do. In fact, I interviewed her twice. Her book, Grey Mouse Purgatory, is in the description for anyone that wants to check that out. Available on Amazon. And there's a lot of useful, helpful, good information in there, in her books. Definitely worth a read. So yes, it's both ways. I've been hurt, betrayed by other people, other MyLabs, other people who I've come close to or trying to get close to in a platonic sense and romantic sense in the past. I messed with, or they're messed with, meaning our minds, our thoughts are manipulated. We'll all of a sudden just get a bad vibe, and then we start not trusting them, or they're acting differently, and so it can cause us to put our guards up, or it can trigger us. Sometimes people that go quiet and ghost us, it's not. Sometimes it's not anything personal. Sometimes it is because they're going through stuff, as well. I just want to mention, but a lot of the time they think that their own dark demons and depression and inner thoughts and feelings about themselves and others, they think and believe it's their own. And a lot of the time, if you're a targeted individual, a MyLab, an envoy, starseed, a lot of the time it isn't. It's implanted thoughts and ideas and feelings and beliefs and illusions about themselves and others. Again, it's a tactic, as Olivia James talks about in her book, to keep us separate. What do we do when we get a bad feeling about someone? We don't trust someone. We step away. We set boundaries. We ghost. It's what we do. And it's successful. It works. So yeah, the amount of people that have come in my life with good intentions and bad intentions that have just, one, I've had to cut away, block, or step away from because they've hurt me, they've harmed me. It's unbelievable. They've come, they go, they come, they go, they come, they go, all my life. In fact, I always say to people, if I dare entertain a friendship, give you I'm just giving you a heads up, they will at some point mess with you or mess with me, as a way to divide us, as a way to create that animosity, that paranoia, to separate us, to keep us apart. Because, I was saying this on my old channel, which I just want to quickly add, when I took that down because I was manipulated, I didn't get any support from any other MyLabs. I remember looking back at other channels whose channels I'd been on, certain individuals who interviewed me. People would watch my videos and they'd comment. Of course, I would see the comments. Where's Zoe? Her channel's not there anymore. And these people, these other MyLabs, I'd be like, oh yeah, she's just gone funny. She's just gone ghost. That's it. Not one of them reached out and checked in on me when I was really struggling at my lowest. There's one person who truly knew what I went through. She knows who she is. I absolutely love her to bits. She's the only one who sees me and knows me, and knows that I am authentic. And she was there for me. She has been there for me. Whilst people were making up rumours, oh, she sabotaged the channel. How horrible and cold, and just absolutely shocking. Immediately, if I knew someone's channel, I knew them and they'd gone, and if I was speaking to them, I'm like, oh, is everything okay? You all right? I'm worried. This isn't like you. I literally put my blood, sweat and tears and not money as well into my channel. I promoted myself. I had so many people on that I interviewed. My subs were getting in. I was getting, subscribers. I'd collab. I'd do all sorts. And then out of the blue, again, the direct energy weapons, the voice to skull, the messing with my frequency, which they have access to our frequency remotely or through our devices. And my intuition, my higher self's been screaming at me for a long time to, Zoe, you need to stay off your phone. You need to get a handle on it, because they are using the phones to affect our frequency, our minds. They are mapping our thoughts, our ideas. They are projecting, mimicking us, even our own voice, guys. It is real. So I'm not saying this to scare you, but 9 times out of 10, if you are an individual like myself, a lot of our thoughts and feelings and beliefs and ideas are not our own. It is manipulation, and this is how they get to us. So we don't question, we just think it's us. We're self-sabotaging, we are doing this to ourselves. But when you know yourself, and when it's out of character and suddenly and out of the blue, and there's no logical reason for that sudden shift in the way you feel and think and believe about yourself and others and your work and your spiritual mission, when it was solid and strong and grounded and you knew who you were and what you're doing and why you're here, to all of a sudden completely the opposite end of the scale, when it's sudden like that, and sometimes it's gradual, that is manipulation, that is interference. They want it to look like on the surface we're doing it all to ourselves. This is how clever they are. They have the technology to do this. And as I'm sharing this, I'm getting I'm feeling an energy, guys. Horrible energy, like there's pressure in my chest, in my stomach. It's like my gut. And it also feels like them as well, if I'm being honest. I don't always blame everything on them, but in this case, this time, yeah, it's them. I'm very familiar with this energy. We have implants. They listen. They know what I'm thinking and feeling. Just like when we're watching our TV and, an advert pops up of something we was just thinking about. We didn't voice, we were thinking about. Because this technology, these waves, these energies are hooked up and linked to our brain, to our consciousness. They are controlling us. They are advertising to us in that moment, seconds later, what they know we want. I don't know, a new phone, or you're fancying a certain meal, or you've just thinking of an idea and all of a sudden it's plastered all over your phone and your TV, okay? People will say in the spiritual community, loving like, oh, it's synchronicity. Yes, synchronicity, the organic kind, is very real. The one that is assisting this collective consciousness awakening is real. our higher selves are guiding us and giving us signs and clues. It is real. But there is also the AI, synthetic, false synchronicity that also mimics angel numbers. And that feeling strong again. So, yeah. So they control us, guys. If you're feeling like something's come over you, there's a change, a shift in you or others, all of a sudden, yeah, guarantee it'll be them. And a lot of the time, people that are being manipulated, their thoughts and feelings, a lot of the time, I'm repeating myself, they generally believe these thoughts and feelings are real. And that's another thing I want to say as well. A lot of these thoughts and feelings, negative kinds, a lot of the time it's illusions from perhaps our own low self-esteem, our own fear, because we all are capable, guys, of having those feelings. It's not always because of these guys controlling and manipulating us. But, a lot of the time, they're illusions. They're not real. The thoughts and feelings we have about ourselves, if you're a targeted individual on my lab, or others, are 9 times out of 10 not real, okay? There are my labs, and just anyone in general, there are people that have shitty personalities, shitty traits, not particularly nice, very cold, very detached, don't treat people very well, that have no empathy, they have no remorse, they take no accountability for their actions and the way they treat others and speak bad of others, okay? I'm not making excuses for them, but they are also targets as well. They are used to come between other MyLabs and others that are in the disclosure movement program, whether that's alien, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, all of the above. And people are starting to wake up and realise that me being one of them, and I realised a long time ago I was being controlled and manipulated, but sometimes it's tricky because you're like, is this my thoughts or is this controlled thoughts? Is this my thoughts and beliefs or is this manipulated thoughts and beliefs? Sometimes it's one or the other, sometimes it's all of it. And so this is why we can get ourselves in a state and we can seem ungrounded and we don't know what to feel, we don't know what to believe, we don't know if we can trust this person because we're just bombarded by everything, and so we can't cope, and so what do? A lot of the time we do nothing about it. We take the coward's way out. We just set boundaries, we walk away, we don't want to, hey, is everything okay? Have I upset you? Have I hurt you? Do we need to talk? Are you okay? I do it myself, and so instead, I put boundaries up. And a lot of the time, these people that trigger us unintentionally or intentionally, so if they're intentionally triggering us and they're being controlled to harm us and hurt us, we have to set boundaries. And if we're unsure, we set boundaries because we don't want to be hurt. And this is what they do. They know they don't want us to get close to people because they can use anything and anyone around us, especially those we start to trust, confide in, help, support. They don't like that. They don't want that. So it's like, yeah, we're going to nip that in the bud. That's not going to happen. That can't happen. That's not going to work, for our agenda. We have to keep them divided. If we keep them busy, second guessing themselves and one another and fighting and arguing, and we pit them against one another, and we create an event, give this person a traumatic experience, and then they'll think it's because of this person, keep them busy, and then we can just continue with our hands clean, continue rolling out with our agendas. This is what they want us. They want us to fight with each other rather than fighting against these bastards, these groups, and divide and conquer. Many of you know this. We see this, we feel this, we see it in the collective, we see it and feel it and experience it in our own lives, our own personal lives. Not to mention the false downloads and information that we believe is coming from source, our higher self, and spirit guides. All that's real, very real. In my belief, it's what I feel, it's what I know. But again, there's the synthetics, there's the mimics, there's the groups that go by many names, implants, programs that are installed in us. All that is to make us believe certain truths and narratives and concepts and things. And so we see a lot of that also in the community. And so a lot of us bump heads. We don't see eye to eye. We start fighting. Oh, that information they've got is it's incorrect. They're being used. I mean, it's one thing pointing out, people that you believe are being used and controlled or are in psyops. But who's to say that you're not also in being controlled and used in a psyop? If you are a mylar, regardless of who you are, what name you are, how big, small, popular you are, you were all being used. We're all being used to a certain extent to cause confusion. What does confusion do? It causes more division. It causes more friction. They want us to keep us weak, confused, not trusting in ourselves and in our discernment and in our own abilities. When we got our true information and wisdom trying to come through with false, it's hard to know. It's hard to tell what's what, like with a lot of information. There's truths and there's lies and mixed truths and warped information and disinformation and misinformation, and sometimes it's hard to know what is what. So sorry guys. So there's that as well. Many of you know this is not anything new. I'm just just pointing that out as an example of many ways that they can cause information, wars, truth wars, informational wars. So a lot of the time I see people that have they don't have the same beliefs. It's like whether you get on or not, sometimes people think that's enough to just like, oh, that person's no good for me. Not in alignment with me because they don't believe in everything I believe in. They don't have the same perspectives of me. Or because of that, it means I can't trust them. They're being used. They don't even know. They don't know they're being used because they have certain beliefs, programs. We're all deprogramming. Some faster than others. I know I have beliefs that I know in next month, 6 months, 3 years down the line that are going to be dismantled. And I'm going to look back and be like, oh, I can't believe I used to believe in that. But that's okay. Don't give yourself a hard time. But that's not a reason to not trust in someone or continue a friendship or connection. I just think that's silly. Again, that's a program within itself. It's an occult. It's an occult programming. As you know, in occults, everyone has to have the same belief. And if you just have one belief that is different, then what happens? They kick you out. They ridicule you. They bully. They belittle. We see all this all the time. This is with adults. It's okay to agree to disagree. It's okay to not have the same beliefs. We need to stop falling for their traps. This is what it is. They're traps. Any way that they can cause us to split and not come together, they'll do it. They are doing it. And we're falling for it every time. We need to come together, start fighting amongst ourselves, and we need to stand strong. Too many people going around pointing fingers. They're an agent. They're an agent. They're an agent. I'm an agent. Apparently I'm an agent. I didn't know that. Guess you learn something new about yourself every day. Like it's just an absolute joke. When someone acts differently or has a different belief about another person, you automatically get accused of being a disinformation agent or a sleeper cell or God knows what else. I've been accused of it all, When really what's happening is we've all been used. We're all being programmed with different things. And as I say that, I've got a very low hum ringing. We are all being used. I hate to say it, but we're all victims. We're all puppets. We're all tools. And We need to take back our power. You know, I'm tempted to just go out and message people that, you know, I don't get on with, or they've hurt me, you know, things like that. Like, hey, do you want to, you know, be friends? You know, that would piss them right off. That they would hate that. But of course, you know, it's not that easy, is it? You know, because we're going to continue getting hurt as well. So, you know, in a sense, it is working. Their agenda is working, because you've got to protect yourself. You've got to have boundaries. But I think if enough of us get on board and realise that we're all being messed with, we're all being used, and that we're just trying to figure it out. We're trying to unprogram old beliefs and programs about ourselves, information, and others. We're trying to figure this out all together. But if enough of us get on board and actually come together and sit with each other and be like, okay, so what have you got? What's your beliefs? What's your information on this and that? You know, come together and try and decode it, work through it. We might not come to answers straight away, but, you know, at least have something in common, and know that, you know, with no ego attached, no pride, that, you know, we don't know. We're just figuring it out, and we need to stop fighting and accusing and pointing fingers and bullying. There's so much bullying. I'm bullied now, still to this day, by certain individuals. I'm not going to give their name, because that would make me no better than them, even if I am defending myself. It always looks bad. So I don't mention names now. And they have no idea that they're being used, and they're going around accusing people of this and that and the other, when they're doing exactly the same themselves, and they just haven't got that self-awareness. Like, people need to look in the mirror. I know no one's perfect. I'm not perfect, you know. I didn't see things about myself, you know, at times. But I'm so much more self-aware now, and I see things, and we just need to stop playing their games and stop falling in their traps, meaning the deep state, these groups, the Project Oblivion, you know. And I feel that, I see that. I believe eventually we're all going to get on board, put our ego and pride aside, and be like, you know what, I was a shit friend. You know what, I should have been there for you. You know what, I shouldn't have lied. I shouldn't have made rumours, you know. And same for me, you know. Um, you know, I'm sorry I felt this way. But then it's hard, because, you know, certain people are just, they're shitty people all on their own. They don't need an excuse, not because they're being controlled. They're just not very nice people, not healthy to be around. And so, you know, you have to set boundaries and sometimes block, you know. It is hard. It is hard. But, you know, when enough of us mature enough, grow up, emotionally mature, as more programs on breakdown, dismantle, you know, we're going to grow a lot, all of us, in more ways than one. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there, you know. But anyway, another thing I wanted to mention as well, in Olivia's book, she mentioned they're coming for us. Well, they've been coming for us for a long time, but let me just go over it again. She mentions let me just find it quickly. Fibromyalgia and our nervous system, and blood clots. Where is it? Sorry, guys, I just had to find the page. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I actually thought I read both of her books. She's got 2 books, Olivia James, and I guess I didn't finish the whole of the second one like I thought I had. I guess I got distracted or something. So anyway, she, obviously you saw, because this is what this video is about, and this is what made me do the video. I messaged her. I says, hey, Olivia, I thought I'd read all your book. Clearly not. The first thing that pointed out in the book, that it pointed out to me, was fibromyalgia. And I was like, oh, interesting. I have fibromyalgia, and I have my own thoughts and theories and stuff. So, which I actually shared. I did a post, I think on my YouTube, but definitely on my Facebook. I did a post. It's pinned up to the top. And I felt this for a long time, that there may be a correlation, a connection with MyLabs and fibromyalgia and, nervous system issues and things. I just intuitively knew. I just wasn't 100% sure. So when I saw this, which I reshared the post on my Facebook, a segment of Olivia's book about that, I was just like, wow, it just validated what I kind of knew. But I was second guessing. Maybe it isn't anything to do with any kind of energy attack or, well, my theory was that it's direct energy weapons. Olivia says it's something to do with the phone. Let me just find it again. I can't find it. Something about, frequencies through cell phones. The phone can affect your brain waves, which is interesting because those that have fibromyalgia, there's no tests. They do blood tests. They do different kinds of tests, and it's not detectable. In fact, how they diagnose you with fibromyalgia is they rule out everything else before they come up with that. Oh, you've got fibromyalgia, but they have done, I think it's CT scans, CAT scans of the brain. Excuse me, guys. Or some kind of scanning of the brain, and it actually shows there's a part of the brain that highlights and actually shows that there is activity going on in the brain. It's basically they're saying it's emotional trauma, and it confuses the brain and nervous system into thinking that we are under attack, and so our body, oftentimes nervous system, goes haywire. And our brain interprets our thoughts and our trauma as, that we're being under attack. I'm trying to explain it, guys. I'm struggling. Brain fog is one of the symptoms. And so our body starts displaying these symptoms, and it is all the symptoms you can think of. Even the fibromyalgia symptoms even mimic cardiac symptoms. Cardiovascular, I can't say it, guys. But like pains in the heart. Some people describe it, sometimes feels like they're having a heart attack and strokes, and they go to the hospital and they're fine, Their whole nerves in the body are on fire, burning, inflamed, inflammation. All these feelings and symptoms are real. And this is why they say it's all in our head. It's not real. There's a miswiring, disconnect, trauma in the brain and the spine and our neuros, whatever. Oh God. But anyway, you kind of get my point, and so yeah. So isn't that interesting? And so I went down the rabbit hole because, like I say, my internal self was just like, this, something's not right. This is not normal. I'm not falling for, just solely on it's because of block trauma, energy stuck in the bodies, because we've not healed and things. Because, I've healed a lot. I know I've healed a lot of my trauma, things I mentioned about, because I don't sit and cry about it anymore like I used to. I don't, like, I've overcome it, I've accepted it, I've healed it, I've even forgiven many that have hurt me, and things like that. So it just didn't make sense to me. And also as well, how it comes and goes. It'll just, they call them fibromyalgia flares, attacks. It's like you're fine, and then boom. It's like something's hit you out of nowhere. And, I've experienced this. I've been many times I've been out and I've been fine. And then all of a sudden I'll hear a frequency, a static. It's like I'm being hit by an invisible wave, and then I'm having a full body attack, and I'm bedbound. When I am stressed, when I am anxious, that can also trigger an attack. But what is triggering that anxiousness, those negative thoughts? Not always my own. Again, it's manipulation a lot of the time. And then our body tricks, our brain tricks our body, our system into thinking that we are under attack, or we are hurting or something, and then that's kind of how it goes. So I went down that rabbit hole. But like I say, Olivia James, that part has just confirmed what I thought. So I was definitely onto something. She's saying it's things through the phone. I do believe her and that information, but I believe it's more than that. I believe it's other ways they can direct energies at us, which can give us these types of symptoms. And in fact, if you look at fibromyalgia symptoms, it's very, very similar if you was to look at like radiation symptoms or EMF symptoms, the symptoms that you can have. And also as well, my body, when it's under attack, will I'll start displaying flu-like symptoms. Yet I haven't left the house, no one else around me has been ill, but all of a sudden I'm having flu-like symptoms, and my body thinks it's under attack and trying to clear away this fake virus, this invader, which isn't germs, it's energy manipulation, it's energy weapons. And again, if you look at radiation symptoms, EMF symptoms, 5G and all that, if you look into all that, that is one of the symptoms, flu-like symptoms, which then takes me to the whole pandemic 2020 COVID thing. Again, I believe it's all energy, it's all manipulation. So they use this to keep us ill, docile, weak. They use it to attack those that speak too much, know too much, remember too much, are helping too much, influencing others too much. It's a way to keep us weak and docile, because if they can do that, then I haven't got the energy to go on my channel and share what I share and share my experiences and help, and it's clever. It's very clever. But yeah, so, and with the nervous system, I've suffered with extreme anxiety all my life. Now, of course, that stems from the abuse I went from as a kid. But I grew out of that after doing a lot of healing, and then boom, it hit me out the blue. Again, usually when I'm stepping into my power, I am remembering certain information, or I'm sharing certain information, or I am collaborating with other people and we're putting two and two together, you know what I mean? Seeing the bigger picture, all of a sudden one or more of us become ill or under attack of some kind. So yeah, it's insane. So, and then not to mention this sudden fear of not leaving the house, fear of flying, the fear of traveling too far, the fear of being on the bus, a taxi, and all of a sudden it's had to take a different route, and then I'm panicking because I'm like, I don't know where, I don't feel safe, I don't know where I am. That is something that never used to be an issue, but all of a sudden became an issue. This is another way to, I always felt that was deliberate. Programs, installed programs. I've actually felt them install fresh programs within me, and I've literally had to fight it off. Not fun. So yeah, it's them, guys, it's them, and that is to keep you in one place so they can easily get, I mean, it doesn't matter where you go. They've told me voice to school, I was thinking one time I want to move, male voice, my handler, you can run but you can't hide, very clear. And I was just like, I knew that anyway, but to hear that, it was quite alarming. So no matter where you go, they're always going to find you. But they do, it's just another way to try and make you go crazy. What makes a person go crazy? Loneliness, isolation, fear of leaving the house, fear of going to new places. What happens when you're in that energy? When you're under attack like that, you can't live, you can't grow, you can't continue healing properly, you can't make new friends and connections, you can't enjoy life and the world. You feel like you're missing out. You feel like the world is moving on around you. Everyone's living lives, having holidays, and you're bound to the house by an energy because of manipulation, and you're miserable and you're depressed, as well as them fucking around with everyone else around you. Again, this is what they do. So yeah, again, the clots. I didn't take any of the clot shots, if you know what I mean. But it's interesting because every now and again I do get a pain, this weird, tight throbbing, shooting pain in my thigh. It's always the one thigh, and it's not fibromyalgia related, or shall I say direct energy weapon or frequencies, whatever related. And one night I had a dream, and there were these random, I know, but there were 3 elementals, and they were basically doing a tarot reading for me. And they said in this reading, you've got a blood clot, and which alarmed me. I immediately woke up and I was like, holy crap, you know. And so I was going down that rabbit hole, trying to, you know, help myself dissolve this blood clot in the natural way, and, you know, and things like that. So I love it. I love spirit. I love it when my family or just anyone, you know, when they look out for me like that, you know. So I do have divine intervention. And so yeah, she mentioned all the 3 of these things: fibromyalgia, blood clots, and skin conditions. I have skin conditions. Nervous system disorders. Yes, I have severe anxiety. My nervous system struggles a lot, you know. And then what was the other one? Oh, it said most people in the disclosure movement are going to find mystery illnesses that relate to the chambers of the heart. So yeah, we know James Rink died of, I'm pretty sure, correct me guys if I'm wrong, was heart complications, heart failure, or something like that. There's quite a few having issues with the heart. Again, a heart has its own energy, magnetic field, you know, just something is beaming an electric pulse, frequency at that frequency of the heart, magnetic energy can disrupt it, they can remotely create and cause strokes and heart attacks. They do it all the time. It can happen to anyone. And I'm not saying this to create fear, you know. I'm just a realist. I'm just going to say how it is. Many of us know this. And again, so, you know, they've pinged at my heart. I've got an implant behind my heart, the kill switch. They've told me this. They've showed me this. They demonstrated as a way to shut me up. But here I am. I'm still sharing. But I do have to be careful and go at a pace and listen to myself. If there's something I want to share and I get a feeling like, slow down, Zoe, now's not the right time, wait a bit longer, then I will wait a bit longer. So sometimes that's why I gatekeep, or I withheld information that I say, you know, there's things I can't share. It's not because I'm deliberately gatekeeping, it's because I have to be careful. And many of us know this. So yeah, just very interesting, guys, with all this. So yeah. So the information that Olivia James got, spot on. It confirmed and validated what I knew and felt. But anyway, guys, I think I've covered everything in this video. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed and you want to keep seeing more videos, then yeah, please subscribe, help me. I have tried to promote my channel, and guess what? Yeah, I can't. They won't. It's denied. I can't promote. Put money, denied. You can't. I can't remember what they said exactly, but you know, they will not let me promote. They won't let me promote my Putin video, other videos. On my old channel, it was never an issue. Now, all of a sudden, I can't even promote my own channel. And subs, I'm barely getting them. You know, they're trickling in, they're trickling out. People have been unsubbed as well. Their comments have been removed. Many of you know my Facebook page is heavily shadow banned. Not that it matters, but, you know, an example, you know, I've got 33 followers, 33k followers. I'm lucky if anyone sees most of my posts, and if they comment, I'm lucky if I get more than 10. So that just goes to show how heavily manipulated, you know, all that is, and shadow banned. And I knew that they came from my social media channels years ago when they abducted me from my bed, implanted me, and gave me 24 hours to remove everything. A lot of the things that was on my old channel I haven't even shared on my new channel yet. But of course they know who I am. They've got hooks and tentacles in me and my channels, as many people have told me in the past, and which I already know, just confirmed really. But yeah, and but that's how it is, you know. It's a struggle, guys. It really is. You know, I wanted to get my channel off the ground enough so I could, you know, more people could see my channel. But I'm struggling, so I don't know what to do. It's not really anything I can do. It is what it is, you know. A lot of people have an easier time, and then there's people like me that have a harder time. So yeah. And lastly, as well, if anyone wants to share their own experiences, I do offer my channel as a place where people can come on and share their experiences, my lab experiences, abduction experiences, um, you know, any kind of experience, anything that they want to share that they believe is going to help others, help this collective consciousness awakening, you know. Um, yeah, so if you're interested, let me know. I'll leave my email in the description and I'll get back to you when I can. I only really use that email for people that kind of want to come on. I don't use it so much for like personal relationship use, meaning like, you know, I'm not going to be I know some people at the minute like are constantly spamming me with things that I can't even keep up, and I'll be honest, it's quite overwhelming. So yeah, um I don't usually get back to people like that, but you know, if they want to come on my channel, share their story, then that's what my email's for. It's not something to be abused, and I don't appreciate the constant bombardment of messages, quite frankly. But anyway, guys, I'm going to love you all and leave you all, and I'll speak to you in the future.